Everyone knows to lose weight you should eat healthy, and while it's certainly true eating nutrient-dense foods is going to help fuel the body, you're going to get your micronutrients in, it's going to help you feel full, that's not the case for all healthy foods. So in this video I'm going to give you 7 foods that are healthy but also could be sabotaging your weight loss efforts. So before I get into these 7 foods, I want to talk about why just focusing on eating healthy doesn't necessarily lead to weight loss. It oftentimes does, but the reason it does is because these healthy foods are really filling. So because you feel more full, you now consume less calories. This puts you into a calorie deficit and you lose weight. And there are foods that, while do have healthy properties, they're just not very filling. And this is why I don't like to focus on just eating clean, and I prefer to track so you know how much you're eating, but that's a topic for a different video. Anyway, the first item to talk about is oils, things like olive oil, coconut oil. While these have unsaturated fats, which are the fats you want that are typically considered healthy fats, while they're certainly good for you, they don't really do much in the way of helping you feel full. And especially if you're using these oils to cook with and you're not accounting for that in your intake, this can add up fast. So if you're slathering everything you eat in oils, that's a lot of calories and it's doing nothing to help you feel full. The next one are different varieties of nuts and nut butters. Again, these have unsaturated fats, but this is a big culprit for many people who can't lose weight. They think, I'm eating so healthy, but then they're plowing down an entire tin of nuts and don't realize they just put away their entire day's worth of calories and can't figure out why they're not losing weight and even gaining weight. And please do not listen to anybody who says that these things are high protein snacks. They are not. Okay, sure, a serving has maybe 7 grams of protein, but for the amount of calories you need to consume to get those 7 grams, it's just not worth it. And if you think about it, if you want to get around 30 grams of protein from nuts and nut butters, you'd have to consume like 700-800 calories to do so. It just doesn't have a great bang for your buck. The next one on the list is fruit smoothies. Now, of course, these are going to have tons of vitamins and minerals, and they're going to have lots of healthy properties to them, but you're also just drinking these calories fast. It's not going to help you feel full. And if you're going to a smoothie shop, these can be loaded with calories. For instance, if you look at Smoothie King, they have several options that are between 5 and even 800 and some calories. And while I'm not one to necessarily demonize sugar, that's again a topic for a different video, but if you're looking at healthy foods and you're consuming these fruit smoothies, oftentimes they can have even around 100 grams of sugar in them. Now this next one, maybe this is just me, and let me know in the comments if you have the same experience. I think whole wheat pasta is just not that great in terms of helping you feel full. I mean, if you think about the calories, it's usually about 180 calories per serving. It's usually got around maybe 7 grams of fiber. It should be nice and filling, but I swear, I just find many whole grain products just don't seem to do a whole lot for me, especially pasta. Now these next 3 items are going to be higher protein items, and protein is extremely important. If you've watched any of my videos, I talk about it all the time. But these items, while they have decent protein, they also aren't the leanest variety, so they come with more calories if you're not careful. And the first protein item is whole eggs. I love whole eggs. I think they're fantastic. And really, all the healthy properties of an egg are in the yolk, all the vitamins and minerals, the unsaturated fat. But if you compare the calories you need to consume from whole eggs versus egg whites, 6 servings of eggs is going to be about 420 calories, whereas 6 servings of egg whites is going to be 140 calories for the same amount of protein. I personally usually do a mixture of the two, especially if I'm doing scrambled eggs. I'll maybe do 2 or 3 eggs and then the rest egg whites to kind of get some of that better flavor, get some of the healthy properties, but also help keep the calories down a little bit more. The next item is salmon, and while salmon isn't necessarily super high calorie when you compare it to other fish sources, salmon is about 170 calories for 20 grams of protein, whereas for the same amount of calories, you can get about 35 grams of protein from something like tilapia. But tilapia won't have those healthy fats. I think salmon is great. It's just not quite as much bang for your buck as many of the leaner varieties of protein. Now this item, many people will probably argue with it being healthy because it is a processed food, but many people also do look at it as a healthy food, and that is protein bars. And again, when it comes to bang for your buck for how much protein you get, how many calories you need to consume, it's pretty high compared to those other leaner varieties. Many protein bars are going to be around 200 to 300 calories to get maybe 16 to 20 grams of protein. So it's not necessarily the best option, but the thing you have to remember with all these items I'm talking about is I'm not saying that you should avoid them. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying you can't have as much as you want and expect to lose weight just because it's healthy. And I'm also a big proponent of creating a healthy relationship with food and not looking at foods as either good or bad. And it's about moderation and being able to enjoy a sustainable lifestyle. So it's not about being perfect. In fact, I got pretty dang shredded consuming a lot of things like wings, tacos, and margaritas pretty consistently. And if you want to see how I went about that, make sure you check out this top video next, and I'll show you how you don't have to be perfect to get the results you want. So I'll see you in that other video.